Are you going to remember the pain and the cost of staying the same or basically not being a homeowner? Or are you going to remember like, man,
welcome back, guys, to the pod, Real Talk Real Estate. My name is Scott Werner with the Capstone team, brokered by EXP. To my left, none other than
Donovan Johnson with Coldwell Banker. Today, we're going to be talking about something that seems like a good strategy at the beginning, but ends up costing you opportunities, aka time and money at the end.
And that is waiting on the perfect house.
And it makes sense to think that way. You know, this is a really big decision for you. Besides your kids, this is probably the biggest decision, and you're going to want to make the quote unquote right choice.
The problem is the perfect house doesn't show up in all the ways that people expect. Sometimes they're waiting and they miss the perfect house. It passes them right on by. Most buyers start out chasing perfection, and that's a good mindset. They usually begin with a reasonable list, what they want, what they need, and at some point in time, that list just starts morphing in.
Absolutely. So from my perspective, let's just say the real estate, like the buyer, they have a goal, right? Your client, they want to buy a home.
Yes.
The field goal, if this is football, to kick through is buying a home. Mm-hmm. A lot of the times, the field goal post starts to move, and that's a problem that high performers have, is that you achieve something and now you want more. Well, buyers will go into a home and start picking apart stuff they like in each home, and instead of being where, hey, we just want a safe place, well, now I'm willing to spend extra money, the goalpost starts to move, and sometimes it's harder to kick through it.
Yep, exactly. Now they're not evaluating the home in front of them. They're evaluating that home with the other homes. So they start getting confused.
Right. And because imagine making the perfect home. It's almost like, you ever seen those things like build the perfect, like it can be perfect player, perfect warrior, and they have all these different parts. A lot of the times, unless you're going to custom build a home, which is upwards of probably over 180 a foot easily now.
You're probably at least 280 a foot now.
Now my stomach hurts. But good thing I'm not getting a loan on that. It's just tough because you're trying to make a gumbo pot out of a house, when in reality, it's a tough standard for any home to meet.
I mean, it's very tough. Imaginary house with this kitchen from this, that bathroom from that, this backyard from another, and somehow still to fit in the budget that they were originally in. It's not the house. It is a group project at that point in time.
And here's the thing. The problem with the overindulgent of choices and waiting is that the home that you probably should buy or should marry per se and put it under is something that you're like, maybe we can just date, or maybe we can just see each other, versus being like, man, they check majority of the boxes. We can live with maybe the one or two things it doesn't have.
Yeah. I mean, that's the part. That's the thing. You start going back and forth. Even if that something it's not the part of the original plan. The reality is homes have trade-offs. Some check these boxes, some check those boxes. It's really what boxes or what home checks off the most boxes for us, and that we're going to be ready to settle down with.
And I feel like a lot of my talking points when I'm with clients is talking about trade-off. Yeah. A lot of the time it's the trade-off of what the price is to versus if y'all want to sell quickly in 2 or 3 years, well, we may need to try and get the best price or the max concession. If safety's the biggest thing, well, we may be going to Gray Hood and looking at the location there. You may be sacrificing size of the yards, layout.
Yeah.
I feel like layout's something people aren't willing to sacrifice nowadays, which I'm in the same boat though. And a lot of the times with these flips that my clients get off market and I go look at them, a lot of the thing is, hey, this layout's funky, let's fix it. So every house is going to have really good stuff. Even your favorite house is going to have something that you like ill about.
I mean, and guess what? If the house checks off every single box, it's usually not going to. It's impossible. It's going to have 1 or 2 points that are a problem. And that's the thing. That's where the price comes in. That's when what you're going to offer for the house that you want to live in comes in.
And something to keep in mind as a buyer that I try to gently remind them, Scott, is that there is a supply and demand and opportunity cost.
It is.
And then with this market here, there's fewer buyers, which means that there's more supply. Buyers have more power and say so right now.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. And what makes it harder is the perfect, people try to hit a target. And when they try to hit the target, they try to be perfect. And sometimes that target is moving, like you said in the beginning.
Goalpost.
Like the goalpost.
Dude.
And it's like, look, tell me what you want. Don't lie to me. Don't sugarcoat it. Because if you try to sugarcoat it, then that goalpost just keeps on moving. Tell me what you want and I'll find it for you.
And the problem with that is that when you don't make a decision after so long, especially when you have enough information, and it's never an information thing, a lot of the times, don't you feel like you're in real estate, you're sending people homes. Imagine if like you're the Google engine. I doubt your client needs to go to page 50 of your Google search. I bet within the first 1 to 3 pages, you got some gold in there.
Yes. And the search starts feeling productive and everything else. It's really stretching that decision out. It's not giving them a clear house to go off of. While buyers are waiting for perfection, something happens. They're passing homes that they usually do like. They're passing homes that actually fit their life.
And my biggest point, and I've kind of mentioned it earlier, is that if this home fits your long-term plan, that's a big indicator to me that it may be worth putting in an offer, even if it may not have that pool feature that you want, or may not have as much space as you want it yard-wise. Like, sometimes you just got to make the jump.
Yeah, but because homes are being compared to an ideal, they don't live up in the moment. They fall flat. Buyers start focusing on what it's missing compared to what my imagination has. And that is a dangerous spot.
Yeah, because you can't control the imagination as much. Because as a realtor, you're not just the realtor. You know, you're a little bit of the psychologist / therapist. You're the friend. You're the cheerleader. You're the navigator. You're the encourager. You can be so much to them, and you got to be able to help them connect the dots and not just stay.
Yeah, a few weeks later, the same homes become the ones that they compare everything else to, which is always fun. But guess what? Does that get them under contract? No, it doesn't. I mean, it's somebody else measuring the curtains. It's doing this. It's not getting them where they need to be ultimately.
Right, and frustration builds when you feel like there's missed opportunities. I'm about to have a phone call today with a client I put in a really good offer yesterday with multi-offer. It didn't work out, but I'm gonna call her more just on some encouraging and just to check on her to be like, hey, I know we're getting frustrated. Like, it can be frustrating, but we will find the right home.
And sometimes, good enough comes into play. And that's one of those phrases that gets misunderstood. People hear it and think, man, I'm settling, and I don't want to settle when I'm spending, like you said, one of the biggest purchases of my life.
Right. And a lot of the times, imagine if you would have waited forever, and never, do you think it's just like, it's so funny how like life and the business relate to each other. Cause a lot of times people want to like date a house. They don't want to marry a house. Imagine if you were still dating Sarah by now. Would you and Sarah still be together?
Probably not.
Would we have a podcast? Probably not.
Probably not.
Would I have eaten Swarmers as much as I have? Probably not.
Definitely not. Would I be in Lake Charles? I mean,
wouldn't be seen.
I would not even be here. But that's the thing. Guess what? A house is like life. It doesn't check every box. It's a marriage. It's something that you have to work with, and it's something that you love. I mean, some features affect your daily life in a house: layout, location, comfortability, commute to here to there. Those things carry the real weight. At this point in time, like we said, it's a marriage. The things that carry the real weight, that's what matters. That's what you should be really worried about. If you're worried about checking things off, check off the things that matter. Don't check off because the paint is wrong. Don't check off because there's no crown molding. Those are things that you can add. Check off to what matters and what fits you and what makes you feel safe. And this is going on a rant, but the neighborhood around it, not just the house, but the neighborhood that you're buying into, the schools that are around it. How close is it to work? I mean, I have one client right now that's like, hey, I'll move to Moss Bluff, but she works in South Lake Charles. Can you imagine that commute each and every day? Because she hasn't found anything. But the thing is, we will get there, but start checking off what matters in the house instead of doesn't have this, it doesn't have that.
The biggest thing is trying to help people iron out their non-negotiables, honestly.
Yep.
So I've noticed a lot with, I'm working with 2 different clients, but both single women. They really want to enclosed garage. Like they want to be able to drive in there, close the door behind them and have that safety. No, I love that. I'm here for it.
Yep.
And there are other things that are more, it'd be cool, like a courtyard or having a back patio. Like, as a realtor, Scott knows you got people everywhere. You can make phone calls and make stuff happen. So it's, if the bones are good, man, let's wear it. Let's wear the skeleton.
Let's wear the skeleton. Let's go ahead and get into the safety that they feel. And that's the distinction buyers have to make that I don't think that they do. A house doesn't need to impress in every category. It needs to impress in where you want to live, and that's what matters.
And I want to reiterate something you said, Scott, because you said basically along the lines of it doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to fit you. Mm-hmm. And I really like that because we can sit here and if any, meeny, miny, mo all day.
We're good.
But eventually you had to say, hey, I know I need this house. I'm tired of throwing away money towards rent. This house, it's not my forever home, but it can be my temporary home.
Yeah. And guess what? If you are smart with your money, you're putting everything that you're doing in a rental into here, maybe even more. And in 5 years, hopefully you pay it off a little bit more, and then we'll get you to the next house, because one of these questions has to lead to a decision. The other question is showings every weekend or even showings every afternoon. We have to get to a decision. Waiting for perfection feels safe, but it also might trick you. It also might be the thing that puts you into, protecting yourself from a mistake, but most of the time it drags out. Yeah, man. Everything costs in life. To get off of the real estate real quick, they said it. I had somebody tell me everything costs, and it can suck at times, but it's like, are you gonna remember the pain and the cost of staying the same, or basically not being a homeowner, or are you gonna remember like, man, it was a process to get through, but I'm so glad I paid the price of that change versus the pain of remaining the same. No. So. And jumping back into that, that was heavy. I don't know if I can jump just straight back into real estate, but I can try. The goal is not finding that perfect house. It's finding the right one. It's finding the right one. It's finding the one that speaks to you. Absolutely. And it's never going to be flawless, but it can definitely be functional. Man, there it is. Hey guys, thanks for listening to us on another podcast of Real Talk Real Estate. I'm Scott Werner. Donovan Johnson. Hey, give us a thumbs up, like, heart, subscribe. Thank y'all. All love at the bottom. Game point.